Morning everybody. So today we're going to be looking at finishing off your stories, and then you're going to have a go at spending the rest of the lesson doing your publishing to make sure that it's all beautiful, and then it can go in your magazine, which we've been obviously starting this week. So we're going to start off by reading what we wrote yesterday over the last couple of days. So I'm going to read mine first so you can see how it flows. It was a clear, pleasant Sunday morning, and the burning sun was rising elegantly into the sky. Knowing all the breathtaking scenes I would see today made my heart skip with excitement. Eagerly pulling out my jet black wetsuit, which was still crispy from drying in the sunshine yesterday, I was overwhelmed with enjoyment. Tightly hanging to my slender body, I readied myself for the dive and took my position at the back of the boat on the bathing platform. Staring down at the crystal clear water splashing clumsily against my boat, a sudden wave of apprehension overcame me. I was about to dive into the unknown in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Bending my wobbling knees, which were shaking uncontrollably, I pushed off the boat, diving into the water. As I plunged into the ocean, the sudden coolness of the clear water sent my body into shock. Feeling slightly panicked, I searched frantically for my diving buddies, who were hidden beneath the bubbles. Finally, once the bubbles had settled, we gradually started to descend towards the ocean floor. Arriving at the ocean floor, we could see brightly coloured coral sitting peacefully on the hard, rough rocks. Gliding gracefully, a powerful, impressive sea turtle swam above the reef, casting a shadow over the sea life below him. So obviously that is where I had got up to. However, I do know that you also have put lots more detail into what you saw and how it made you feel seeing all of those. So what I'd like you to do now is I'd like you to pause the video. I'd like you to go back and read your starter, your sentence opening, your first paragraph where you're just about to dive into the water. Then reading your next paragraph where you've dived into the water and you're going to swim down, and you're telling me what you can see. So there should be some really good brilliant sentences there. Once you've had a go reading all of those, please press play, and we're going to look at what we're going to do next. So now we've got to the point where we've been at the bottom of the ocean and we now want to finish it. So we've said about everything we can see. So we now want to say about what we're going to do now, or what we're going to think about. So what I'd like you to think about is just to pause the video now and think about what it is, how are you going to say about then going back to the boat? What's going to happen? Are you going to notice something? Are you going to say, have you got a watch on to say the time? Is it your oxygen tank that's going to be running out of oxygen that you need to go back to the surface? What is it that you're going to go back to the surface, and how do you feel about actually leaving the underworld and going back up to the boat? So I'd like to pause the video now and have a think of those ideas, to think of what you're going to do and how you are going to end your story. Once you've got that idea, press play and we'll talk through. I'm going to show you my idea and then we can talk that through, and then you can use that to finish your story off as well. Okay, so now you've had an idea of what yours is going to be, I would like you to then have a look at mine and see if you can think of spotting the adjectives, the adverbs, what I've used to really think about how you're going to end yours. So suddenly I heard a glug sound. Turning around, I noticed I was nearly out of oxygen in my tank. It was time to go. Powerfully pushing off the ocean floor, I quickly kicked my legs to propel to the surface. What a fantastic experience it had been. I knew this definitely wouldn't be the last time I came diving into this extraordinary underwater world. So I'd like you to write down the word adjectives. And then I'd like you to find all the adjectives I've used. So write a list, you can bullet point them, tell me all the adjectives. Once you've done that, I would then like you to tell me all the adverbs I have used. So you can list them or bullet point them to tell me all the adverbs I have used. Then you're going to come back to me and we're going to see if you found all of the ones which I have before you can then get started on your story. Okay, so you should have found a couple for each. So if we have a look at adverbs first, so your adverbs you should have found powerfully and quickly, because that was telling you how I had actually completed a movement. Then we have Fantastic and extraordinary, because that's describing the experience, the water and the underwater world. Now, I actually think reading that back that I actually could put some more adjectives in. So what I would now like you to do is, on a piece of paper, I would like you to go and up level my sentence. So if when you're reading it, so suddenly I heard a glug sound. I'm going to think about, I can actually describe the glug sound, a loud bellowing glug sound, or a bubbling glug sound. So I can already straight away see I can add some adjectives in. So what I would like you to do is, using on a piece of paper, I'd like you now to go and add. Now you might not need to write every sentence, just the sentences. So I would probably go looking from suddenly at least up to where it says it was time, at least those first two sentences, because I've definitely noticed some parts that I can put in there. And then we'll see if you've got where I've got as well, where I've noticed I could put some extra adjectives in to really make my sentences pop. So we can see here I've got lots of different way of putting some extra words. So instead of just saying I heard a glug, I've had a loud bubbling glug. I've then said I was nearly out of oxygen in my silver diving tank. Powerfully pushing off the sandy, smooth ocean floor, I quickly kicked my long, muscular legs to propel to the surface. So you can see there, I've gone and added that extra bit of detail to just help paint that picture a little bit better in the reader's mind. Now I'd like you to finish your story off. So I need you to now to think about, right, well, where have I got to in my story? I now want to get from going there up to the surface, to either climbing back on the boat or just to going back up to the surface. But what I would really like you to do is to have a lasting comment. So the lasting comment to tell your reader that you've enjoyed it. So mine would be, what a fantastic experience it had been. I knew this definitely wouldn't be the last time I came diving into this extraordinary underwater world. Yours could be something like that. I can't wait to revisit this fantastic underwater world. It could be that actually you've enjoyed it, but you won't do it again. So you could say that something along the lines of, this was a truly unbelievable experience. However, I wouldn't be doing this very regularly. I wouldn't do this again anytime soon, as it seems like a one-time experience, or something like that. You can leave it with a lasting comment. So once you've had a go at writing your lasting comment, so press pause now, finish off your final part, then you can press play, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do once you finish your whole script, not your script, sorry, your whole piece of writing, your whole story, to tell me what your story is going to be about. Now, once you've had a go at telling me your whole story and you're happy with it, please make sure you go back and up level it, and make sure you've got as many adjectives and adverbs in there as you possibly can. Then you're going to have a go at publishing it. Now, I've given you an example here. So how I would do it is, I would first of all draw a border around my page. Then I would write my title at the top. So I'm going to give it a title. I'm going to say Into the Blue. So that's going to be my title. But you can obviously, it could be something about diving experience, or you won't believe it, or it could be something like, it could be a question. You can decide. Then what I would then do is I would write my story inside of my border. So just like I've done here, I've wrote my writing inside. Then what I will do is I will then decorate my border by adding some colour, adding some pictures to really make it really stand out and really make it beautifully presented. Now, it would be nice if you, obviously I've done it on the computer here, so that could be one option that you do. However, if you are doing it on the computer, it takes quite a long time to type it. So what I would suggest doing is actually writing it out and then actually drawing your pictures and colouring them with rather than do them on the computer, to do them by hand. And then it should look something like this, so that it is all beautifully presented. Your story is beautiful. You've got your pictures of your, it could be your things that you've described. It could be divers you draw. Use the internet to help you look to see what they look like shape-wise. It could be that you just have a border that's not got any sea creatures, and it could just be a coloured border. So once you've had a go at doing this, if you please can you put them on Seesaw so I can have a look at your fantastic stories, and then if you save this nice and somewhere careful, because this is going to go into your magazines as well. So once you finish, you can put it to the side so it's nice and safe, and then it'll be ready to go in your magazine once we've finished all our work to put together.